Clint. For those of you who aren't familiar with the channel or just signed up, I'm Clint. Over there's CJ somewhere. He's hiding. He went around back of the car. This here's the old leafer. Main focus of this channel is the old leafer, but those of you that have been with me a while know that I'm also an owner-operator on my own semi-truck. And we're not racing this weekend to start with. So the old leafer will get some action this weekend. And stick with me here. We are going to have some racing action with this video. But it's just not going to be the old leafer. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's going to be a super street. But right now, we are going to have to work on my old trusty semi here. We call this old beater Snowball. And what we have is 1.5 million miles worth of abuse that's finally rearing its ugly head up. We're going to try to get down here and get a little bit of a shot of what we got going on here, but the road and grime has taken its toll. I don't know if you can really see that, but as you can see, it is wet here on the pumpkin, and got to try to fix that somehow or another without buying a whole nother pumpkin. So before we go do any racing action or whatever, I'm actually home early because of this. We got to fix that. And simply, what I'm going to do is clean it up with a grinder. I don't know how bad the rust is without peeling the paint off. But I'm going to do my best to clean it up with a grinder. With a flap wheel. Probably scrape the big heavy stuff off first. But we're going to clean it up and make a patch for it, because one of these rear ends, I know just a gear alone is pretty close to a couple grand. Now, I don't know what a whole rear end will be, but I figure by the time you add brakes and gear and everything else, it ain't going to be cheap. So we're going to try to patch this one up and get us going for right now, and we'll be back with you here shortly. All right, so we've been up underneath here and we knocked a bunch of the rust off here. And let me see if I can get in here good enough. Right there. Yeah. Fine. I don't know if you can really see it in the picture, but there's a little pinhole in the rust, or in the pumpkin here, that causing just enough leak. This metal for the rear end probably starts off every bit of 1/4 inch or more thick, but it's rusted through enough to actually get a hole in one spot. This whole area here where you can see I've knocked it off, that was one big rust bubble basically, and pretty much it found a hole and popped. So I'm gonna cut this little piece off here. It used to be a bolt that broke off when I was trying to get the wire loose. There's a temperature wire that comes in down here, but I'm going to grind that off, and then I will probably take my little welder and just hit that hole real quick enough to seal that off, and then get me a piece of steel, and I'm going to cut it out enough to where it'll cut it and shape it to the rear end and weld it on. But we're going to get to clean it up. I'm going to take a flapper wheel and clean up the excess rust on around the area, and like I said, I'm going to cut that little piece off and see if we can't get this patched up and ready to go for another however long we can get it to last. But hopefully we can make it through the remainder of the year and figure out what we're going to do from there. So alright, so we've taken the grinder and the slag hammer and knocked a bunch of the rust off. You can see it's a little shinier. See if we can't slide up in here a little bit. Excuse my hand there. But trying to look upside down, but right there you can see a little pinhole a little bit better. like I said, this metal starts off close to 1/4 inch thick. And, you know, this truck, it was manufactured in 2006, licensed as a 2007. However, whatever reason when they do tractors, they do them weird on the titles. But 1.5 million miles on the truck, on the frame itself, 500,000 on the engine. But that just goes to show you what the roads can do to your metal and stuff. And this is thick metal, don't get me wrong. But it that's what happens. 1.5 million miles worth of wear and tear. And one time we used to show this truck, so I used to have a lot more time to mess with polishing and cleaning and painting and all that stuff, and it used to not be as dirty as it is right now. But so that's part of contributing. I always say washing is part of maintenance, and unfortunately we've been slacking on our washing program, and we're trying to fix up, and things like this here is what happens when you don't keep them clean, keep them painted up. So we're going to get started fixing it. I think I'm going to just hit that real quick with my little welder and kind of patch that hole up, and then I'm going to make some patches out of some steel and weld them on. But we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so we had to run into town real quick. I took my sheet of steel here into Brewington's when we was working on the old leafer. One thing, kind of dirty here. Back on track. Since my pumpkins on the rear end of the truck are kind of rounded, well, can't really say I decided that the easiest way to get the round shape into a flat piece of metal for me, I could either get the torches out and beat them out round, which could take a while and use up a bunch of gas, or I could use cutting wheel and cut out some little pieces, and I'm cutting them out into smaller triangles instead of 2 or 4 square pieces, to kind of give me a better opportunity to get the metal kind of shaped to the rear end. It's not going to be perfect by any means, but when welding on cars or big trucks or whatever, one thing you want to do is disconnect the batteries so you don't fry them. In this truck here, a few years ago I had to price a computer on it, and it's well over $1,000. I think we was looking about $3,000 for the main ECM. So first things first, we're going to disconnect the battery so we don't fry the truck. So that's kind of important to do, kind of save you a little bit of money. But we'll get with you here in a minute. We're going to start welding up here in a second, so we'll be with you here shortly. All right, well, we've got it done. As you can see, it's a Frankenstein monstrosity that I've come up with, but I patched the hole that was actually in the differential, the little rust hole, and I made this here to cover it up. In all reality, you should be able to take a pretty hard hit before it breaks. We're going to slap a coat of Rust-Oleum on it and hook the temperature wire up back down here. But other than that, this project's done. Next project, we're going to go watch some watch some late model racing. We gotta, like I said, we're going to paint this. I got to plug it back in. I'm going to drain the fluid out of here and change the fluid. And other than that, this project's done. So on to the next thing. Doing in there, Caden?
I'm putting a radiator hose on.
So as promised, we are getting some racing action tonight. We're up here helping my buddy Mike. He's all the way from Texas at Tri-City Speedway tonight. Running a might as well call it a super crate late, running a crate engine with a super late model setup. Kind of come up, give him a hand. We'll talk with him here in a minute. So, he ran last night at Farmer City and working on running here tonight, running for UMP points. So we're going to help him get his car ready, and we'll catch him here shortly and see if we can't get him to talk on the video. Tri-City Speedway. Mullet Kid's first time here, my second time. What do you think of it, Mullet Kid?
It's decent. It's a big track.
He says it's decent. But Mike's going out first heat, starting front row outside. We're gonna see how he does up here. And look like they got power wheel races going on right now.
But not here. I don't know. They don't matter.
race finish. Little crate car going against big boys, so I thought he looked pretty good. Gonna make a few adjustments, get ready for the feature, but not bad for a little crate car against big boys, so we'll be with you. Well, I'm up underneath the car. I don't know a lot about these cars. I would show you what he's got going on underneath here, but I can tell you it's definitely not leaf springs. But I learned a few things last year helping him out about doing a quick change. And so one thing I remember is upside down snowman with the numbers out. And so that's one thing I definitely know about one of these things, was changing gears. As you can see, we'll look up around in here a little bit. Where I'm laying at right here, there should be a leaf spring over my head. He don't have a leaf spring.
underneath here and push it. So I can get the strap on there. Oh, wait a minute. Hand me that interview.
So, didn't go exactly how we wanted to tonight, did it?
I got a check and I got points.
Got checking points. It's what, about 3 o'clock in the morning now?
About that.
He went out for a feature at 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so, and we're just now getting done. He got in a little fender bender with one of the local racers. And
Fender bender. How about upper lower control arm, ball joint?
we
hood,
rebuilt the
fenders,
front end.
radiator.
But going to Clarksville, Tennessee now, right?
That's the game plan.
And back home to Texas.
That's the game plan. Unless I can find something for Sunday.
You gonna take your shirt off, run topless Sunday?
I'll take it off right now. I'm filthy.
I don't think we
Well,
can see that, Mike.
Okay.
It's been fun playing around up here with the late model.
Hey, these 4 guys, they're fabulous.
So, well, we're gonna head home. I gotta get to bed. I got some work to do tomorrow.
Me too.
We'll see you. Well, Caden, it's 5:30 in the morning.
I know.
We're just making it to my house. But we're gonna go in and go to bed and probably close this video out. So we'll see you guys later.